Hey guys, welcome to August Google Hangouts. This month, again, I'm going to be talking to you guys about macronutrients, purely because taken on a lot of new clients recently. You see the girls that are in the forum that are coming in. Macros might be something new to you guys. Or you're just not really getting it or understanding it or really understanding the importance of hitting your macros. So this Google Hangout was purely just to answer some questions that I've received from a number of you, and then also just to reiterate how flexible dieting works, why it's important, and the key aspects of it that I want you guys to focus on. So let's get into it. And I guess the first thing I want to say is that it's not if it fits your macros, because that gives you the impression that you can eat what you like as long as it fits in your protein, fat, and carb requirements. And that's not really the case. And that's sort of where tracking macros has gone down. It's gone down that route of you can eat a diet and highly processed foods because it fits your macros. But actually what you're missing out on there is all the micronutrients, all the vitamins and minerals, all the fiber that you get from wholesome foods. So the first protocol that you guys should be following is that 80% of your diet needs to come from, and I don't want to say clean food, I want to say wholesome food. Fresh fruit and vegetables, lean meats, fish, legumes, nuts, seeds. You should also get quite a variety of foods. Don't get stuck eating the same thing all the time. So 80% of your diet from wholesome foods. Then that allows 20% to, eat what you like, really. I am a massive chocoholic. I eat 85% dark chocolate pretty much every night. I don't eat a whole bar, maybe have a couple of squares, but that would be my 20%. Or if it's, a protein bar or something like that, that's 20% of your diet is going to come from something that's a little bit more processed, or grains, for that example. A diet in highly processed foods is going to leave you feeling really tired, really lethargic. Your skin's going to break out. You're going to have no energy. Your sleep will be all over the place. So for you girls that are struggling with energy levels or feel like you're tired all the time, even though you are getting a good amount of sleep, you need to take a look at what food you're consuming, because that's going to play a really important role in that. I made a few notes here so I don't forget anything. So 80% wholesome foods, 20% sort of processed stuff. And that's where the key in flexibility comes from. You have the flexibility to eat what you like in moderation and without restrictions. In saying that, protein needs to be your first priority. If you are struggling with the amount of food I've given you, you need to first make sure you eat your protein before you eat your fats and your carbs. And that's purely because protein is the king macronutrient. It plays so many roles in terms of your body composition. It's there for maintenance and repair of lean muscle tissue. It's going to help you feel fuller for longer. It's really the one thing that you really need to get into your diet first. If you start to struggle with the amount of protein I've given you, it's going to, like anything, it's a new habit. It's going to take you a while to adjust. Just try first getting 3 serves of 30 grams a day. That's going to be 3 protein spikes of 30 grams throughout the day. That's 90 grams of protein. That should really be your breakfast, your lunch, and your dinner. Then you've got sort of mid-morning, mid-afternoon to have a high protein snack, and then you shouldn't be far off your target. If you can tolerate them, protein powders are there as they're available. They're not bad. They're not going to make you bulky. It is important to know what you're putting into your body. So check the ingredients first. Don't go and buy a brand because it's what your favorite Instagram celebrities promoting on their page. Really check the ingredients first, because there are a lot of things that are added to them, a lot of artificial sweeteners or fillers to make them taste good. So really do your homework on that. If you've got any questions about a supplement that you're thinking about taking and you're not sure, please feel free to email me, and I'll give you some feedback on that. In terms of supplements, protein really is the only thing that I would recommend you have on hand. Everything else you can really get from your diet. Creatine is probably the only other thing out there that's got enough research on it to really sustain or influence you purchasing it, but it's really not essential. Protein would be the one thing I'd say have on hand. Your calories that I've allocated to you for all your macros are based off, they're all individually to you. They're based off your body composition, now your goals, your activity level, your body type. Are you an ectomorph, mesomorph? And they're all specific to you. For most of you guys, you are wanting to change your body composition, fat loss, muscle gain, or fat loss, maintain lean muscle mass. That requires a certain amount of calories. Your body requires a certain amount of calories to get out of bed and function, do all its daily functions. If you add exercise on top of that, you're going to be in a deficit. So for most of you guys, you are on a calorie deficit from your baseline, and your baseline is what you need to function every day. And your activity level in terms of what you do for a job. Do you walk to work, cycle, that sort of stuff. If you add in training, there's another maybe 300 to 500 calories in the deficit. And for most of you guys, if I want to put you in a deficit, that's going to be anywhere between 200 to 300 calories in a food deficit. So if you're not hitting your required macro targets, that then adds you into a further calorie deficit, which can actually be detrimental to your results. If you do not have enough available energy in your body to do all your daily functions, you add in exercise and you're under eating, your body's not going to respond the way you want it to. That is where you actually end up losing muscle and gaining fat. So I don't focus on your calories. That's why I tell you to hit your macros, because if you ultimately hit your macros, you're going to hit your calories. For your carbs and fat split, this is more, I work out your fats first, and your carbs make up the rest of your diet. But this is more a preference really than anything else. Some people respond better to higher fats. Some people respond better to higher carbs. So as a baseline, most of you guys are on about 30% of your calories for fats and the remaining carbs. So if you prefer fats over carbs, or you feel like your body responds better to fats than carbs, you just can't get enough carbs in, you're struggling with it, let me know. We can adjust and we can play around with that and see how you respond to something else. Talking carbohydrates, I want to just talk about fiber, because fiber comes from your carbs. You should be aiming for around 10 to 15 grams of fiber per 1,000 calories that you're on. If you have too much fiber in your diet, you're going to feel pretty awful, pretty bloated, probably get that lower abdominal pain. If you're not getting enough fiber into your body, again, that's not good for digestion. You've got two types of fiber. You've got soluble fiber, which breaks down in your body, and you've got insoluble fiber, which helps move waste through your body. So you need to have a combination of those two fibers in your body to really have your digestive system working at its fullest potential. Types of soluble fiber are things like oats, sweet potato, flaxseed, vegetables, all those sorts of things. Insoluble fiber would be things like whole grain, beans, legumes, those sorts of things. A lot of the protein bars out there, you'll notice are also high in fiber. I notice when I have things like a Quest bar or a Titan bar, they're quite high in fiber, I get really bad bellyache. And it's actually because of the fiber content in them. It's probably about half of your daily fiber goal in one protein bar. And if you're having that sort of towards the end of the day and you've already consumed oats, bananas, sweet potato throughout the day, you've probably hit your fiber goal and you're starting to feel a bit crap. So too much fiber is bad. Not enough fiber is also bad. So you've got to find that balance, and that comes out of your carbohydrate allowance. Sugars, I get a lot of questions about sugars, or I've eaten too much sugar, that's why I've not finished eating my carbs for the day. As long as you're hitting your fiber goal, I'm really not concerned about what MyFitnessPal tells you your sugar intake has been. Ultimately, your body breaks down foods the same way, whether you get your sugars from things like fruits or you get it from honey. It ultimately breaks down sugar the same way. What you're going to be getting as an added bonus from eating fruit and getting your sugar from fruit is all the fiber as well. Also all the micronutrients. So in terms of your sugar, I'm really not fussed with what MyFitnessPal tells you on your screen grab. So please make sure you do still hit your carbohydrates, even if you feel like you've eaten too much sugar. And I say that only if you have hit your fiber target. If you're way over in sugar, you've hit your carbs and you're not hit your fiber, your diet is too high in probably processed foods. While we're on the subject of MyFitnessPal, there are so many errors with it, so you really need to sort of go with a grain of salt and be okay with it's a guesstimate at best. Wherever possible, barcode your food. That's going to be the most accurate source. The second thing would be to go with a verified option. Again, they're not 100% accurate, but they're going to be more accurate than some of the other options in MyFitnessPal. And check that there's always a macro breakdown for all the foods that you are inputting into your diary, because sometimes there will just be a calorie allotment and no macro breakdown for them. If you're adding a new food into your, so if you've eaten the same thing for a long time, you're going to have those foods stored into MyFitnessPal. If you're adding something new into your diet and you go and search for it, have a little look. If you can't find the verified tick or you can't barcode it, have a look at what you've been given as an option from MyFitnessPal and just see what the variance is between the measurements that they've given you. Some will be really out. You can have, we picked one up before, I think it was a green capsicum, and 100 grams of green capsicum had a very different macro breakdown on 3 or 4 sources in MyFitnessPal. So try and have a look and have a play. Don't just go with the first one that comes up, and really just take it with a pinch of salt that it's just a very good guesstimate at what you're eating. Also check that the weights and measurements that you're using in MyFitnessPal are either raw or cooked, and know the difference between those, because cooking your food does change the nutrient value of it. So ensure that you know the measurement that you're adding is a cooked or raw weight. You can add in recipes into MyFitnessPal if you like to cook. I'm not the best cook, so Josh does all the cooking, but that means he also does all the recipes in MyFitnessPal too. So you can add all your ingredients in there. Once you make up your batch of whatever it is you're cooking, then decide how many serves you want to get out of that. You can then add in the serves, and that'll give you a calorie breakdown and a macro breakdown for the recipe that you put in. It's a really good way actually, and that stores your recipes in there. And the beauty of that is if you make it again but you tweak it, you can just tweak your recipe in MyFitnessPal. I think I mentioned don't get stuck eating one food group. Variety is the spice of life. You should have a wide variety of meats, fish, seeds, nuts, dairy if you can tolerate it, butter. Don't be afraid to cook with butter. Fruits, go with what's within season. Vegetables of all different colors. There really is so much choice out there. Don't think that because you're on this journey to get, change your body composition, you have to eat really plain and you have to eat chicken and rice and broccoli to get the results you want, because that's really not the case. You are more likely to get the results you want by staying consistent on a plan that works for you. The only diet that works is the one that works for you. And as soon as you start getting bored, it's too hard, or you're eating the same thing, that's where you're going to fall off track, and that's where it doesn't work. So if you're continually eating chicken, broccoli and rice because you feel you need to and that's what's going to get you the results, it's not going to work. Unless you're a fan of chicken, broccoli and rice and that's easy for you, then that's okay. I still eat chicken, broccoli and rice because it's very easy for me too. So get a nice mix of foods. If you're really stuck, you hate cooking, you can't think, you're too busy, don't have the time for this, there are so many meal prep companies out there now that will give you your macro split. Try a few, see which ones work for you. Maybe you get ideas for cooking as well. I'm currently using one called 5.4. They offer packages like female weight loss, female maintenance, female muscle gain. They have the protein breakdown, the fat breakdown, and the carbohydrate breakdown on their meals. They are frozen meals, and they're actually probably the best frozen meals I've had. I've tried a few of them. Muscle meals suck. Don't ever try that one. But again, if you've got sort of food intolerances, you will just need to have a little shop around and see which ones you're able to pick and choose. Some companies, I think, allow you to say, these are my macros, what can you do? Others will just give you a plan that you can go off. So that's, you know, an option there. If you really feel like you can't do it, it's too hard, can't cook, don't have the time, too busy, all those excuses, there's still 100 ways you can still get the food in that you need to. Let's talk eating out. Flexible dieting gives you the flexibility to meal prep, it gives you the flexibility to eat out, and it gives you the flexibility to eat what you like in moderation and without restrictions. So eating out should not be a fearful thing. It should not be avoided, because food should be enjoyed. And it's just about being smart with this as well. If you are going for an event or a dinner or something where you know it's going to be quite food, there's going to be drink, there's going to be cake, there's going to be dessert, whatever it is, you want to firstly try and see if you can find the restaurant, the menu, know what you're going to want to eat. You can backtrack your day. You can add in the food that you think you're going to eat for the meal, add in a glass of wine, add in a dessert, and then backtrack your day. So what macros do you have left after that? What can you play around with for the rest of the day? Mainly have protein and sort of high fibered vegetables or a salad for lunch. Keep it light, but make sure you get your protein in. That way you're going to save the majority of your fats and your carbs for your dinner. If it's a breakfast you're going out for, that's fine too. That's your first meal of the day. Great, go and enjoy breakfast. Breakfast is normally usually high fat with eggs and bacon and avocado and everything else. So that just means you have to adjust your meals for the rest of the day. Your day is not over if you haven't finished your meals, but you've gone out and eaten out more than you would normally. There's still time to tweak your rest of your day and not throw in the towel. With going out for dinner, it can be quite overwhelming. If you've got a lot of people, there's going to be alcohol, there'll be bread on the table, there'll be maybe pasta, whatever it is. Be smart about this. You don't sit and eat 4 bread rolls, have 4 glasses of wine, eat the pasta, and then get a dessert to yourself and think that you're going to be killing it next week and on this amazing results train, because you've probably just consumed a hell of a lot of carbohydrates and fats. Be sensible about what you want to enjoy. Don't waste your calories on bread if you know you're going to want to have a dessert after. Share desserts. And maybe just have a glass of wine, or make it a lower calorie alcoholic drink like a spirit. So make mindful choices. Don't have it all. Or if you do have it all, be okay with that. Don't beat yourself up about it, and just get back on your plan the next day. The other thing would be managing your expectations. So if that is the action that you chose, managing your expectation for the results that you expect to see the week after. And it's being okay and having the right mindset and being okay with the choice and the decision that you made. I would also say train that day. Have a good lower body session. Make sure you train legs, get the heart rate up, lift some heavy weights. And then if alcohol is consumed, the next day just try and go for a walk, just get moving, just get the blood pumping. What else did I want to talk about? Meal timing and frequency. Really not essential for body composition change. There's no research out there that suggests meal timing around training makes all that difference, as long as you're getting 3 protein spikes that hit your leucine levels, your leucine threshold, and that's around 30 grams. So as long as you're getting 3 hits of protein at 30 grams throughout the day, meal timing is irrelevant as long as you hit your macros before you go to bed. That's pretty much all I wanted to cover about macros, and I really hope that's helped sort of figure out some of the questions you guys have had. I'm just going to go and check the forum to see if there was anything that was posted. Otherwise, there should be a box on here that you should be able to ask questions on here. Oh, Lisa has a question. Ella, not sure how I jump on live, but I have a question about sugar in fruit. Being conscious of sugar intake, obviously the more fruit you eat, the more sugar, fructose you consume. How much fruit would be recommended for a daily intake? Going off the dietary guidelines is probably like 2 serves of fruit a day. but as I mentioned before, I'm really not concerned with the levels of sugar that you get into your body as long as you are hitting your protein, fats, carbs, and fiber goals. If you are going over your carbohydrates, you're not getting enough fiber, and your sugar intake is really high, that's where it's going to be a problem. Your body breaks down all the sugars the same way. You're just going to get more vitamins, minerals, and fiber from fruit. Full fruit as well, not fruit juice. The problem with fruit juice is it sucks out all the sugar from the fruit and you leave all the fiber and all the goodness in the skin and everything else. So fruit juices are okay, but just have them with an open mind of you're drinking a lot of sugar and not getting the benefits from the juices from the fruit itself. Just think about it. You wouldn't be able to sit there and eat 4 apples in a row, but an apple juice will probably have 4 or 5 or 6 juiced apples in there. So the sugar content from those would be quite high. Let me see if I've got any questions on here. No questions from you guys. Maybe if you can't figure out how to do the questions on the Hangout, jump onto the forum now and just post them in there. And I will respond to them. Apparently there are some websites out there that you can verify more of your food groups with. So I'm going to take a look at those and see if I can find something else that's a little bit more reliable than MyFitnessPal in terms of tracking your intake. MyFitnessPal does have a premium product where you have to pay for it. It's not necessary. It's definitely not essential. If you guys struggle with the macros that I give you and not being able to put them in accurately, that's okay. Just go with the closest value possible and just hit the macros that I give you. Okay, so no questions coming through, and I think I really covered everything I wanted to. If you follow those principles, you should really just be successful with this. And I guess the big takeaway is don't overthink it, don't overcomplicate it. If you're struggling, ask for help. The forum is an open communication for you guys to share recipe ideas, ask for help. If you're struggling, you know, what are your struggles? If you're feeling like you're uncontrollable, you just want to eat everything in sight, you know, feel free to open up and discuss that, because whatever you're feeling and whatever you're going through, you're not going to be the only one going through that. And I wanted to build this community of women that are all going through the same thing, that you guys have support from each other to be able to get through this and come out the other side a better person, have a better mindset, and get some awesome results on the way. Something that I never had when I started on this journey was support from friends and family. So I think it's important that you guys get to communicate with each other and show your support with each other. So get those questions in the forum and I can answer them as you post them.